Deep within fossilized ice layers lie secrets frozen through time, yet to be unveiled. From extinct monsters to cities lost, ice has preserved some of the world's most sensational finds. We're embarking on a quest today to discover the 15 most surprising discoveries that were on nature's fridge for thousands of years. Hello, all curious minds out there. Do remember to subscribe before we look into these ice finds, because what follows are some of the most stunning findings ever dug up by scientists from the ice. Starting with exquisitely well-preserved animals that date way back, there's enigmatic human evidence here, and this discovery has made all we had once known regarding the past about this planet extinct. 15. The Yukagir bison. In 2011, researchers in Siberia made a stunning find when they discovered nearly intact steppe bison that had been frozen for approximately 9,000 years. The reason the discovery was so striking was the preservation of the specimen, including its internal organs, hair, and even its brain. The bison, or Yukagir bison mummy, was found with all of its original ecosystem surrounding it, including the remains of old plant life within its stomach. This never-before-seen state has allowed researchers to study exactly what these ancient beasts ate and their way of living. Researchers were even able to extract well-preserved DNA from the specimen, which significantly aided our knowledge of bison evolution and genetic divergence between ancient and contemporary species of bison. 14. The Black Brigade soldiers. In 1916, during World War I, an entire company of Austrian troops were found frozen in the Alps, engulfed by a surprise avalanche. They weren't found until 2004, when global warming began to melt the glacier that had entombed them for nearly 90 years. The bodies were found along with their equipment, personal effects, and even shriveled-out rations. The letters, photographs, and papers carried by the soldiers provided historians with tremendous information about soldiers' daily life during World War I, who were deployed in the harsh alpine terrain. The preservation was so good that researchers could name many of the soldiers from the personal effects they left behind, finally putting families out of doubt for centuries over their fate. 13. The Copper Age pair. In 2017, two bodies were discovered thawing from a glacier in the Swiss Alps by scientists. What made the discovery so exciting was that the couple had been frozen together, hand in hand, for over 5,000 years. Their belongings, such as clothing and tools, were among the find, providing unprecedented insight into Copper Age life in Europe. The couple's clothing was unusually well preserved, allowing scientists to study ancient methods of textile production. DNA analysis found them likely to have been a married couple, and isotopic analysis of their teeth suggested that they lived their entire lives within the same alpine valley where they perished. 12. The Frozen Mammoth Calf. In 2007, Siberian reindeer herders stumbled upon what would turn out to be one of the best-preserved mammoths ever discovered. Lyuba, as she was nicknamed, was a 42,000-year-old baby mammoth that was so well preserved. Her skin and organs and even milk from her last meal were still intact. Researchers discovered that Lyuba had died following burial in the mud, which froze quickly, preserving her with extraordinary detail. Her body contained unique bacteria that provided information on the prehistoric environment. In a most astonishing discovery, scientists discovered her mother's milk within her stomach, allowing them to analyze the nutrient content of mammoth milk for the first time. The find completely changed our picture of how the calves of mammoths were brought up and why they finally became extinct. Lyuba is now the most researched mammoth specimen in the world. 11. The Alpine Iceman. In 1991, hikers in the Ötztal Alps discovered what they initially thought was a recent accident victim. Instead, they had stumbled upon a 5,300-year-old hunter, now known as Ötzi. His discovery changed our understanding of prehistoric European life forever. Ötzi's body was extremely well preserved, as were clothing, tools, and even tattoos. He was carrying a copper axe with him, showing that metalwork was more advanced than previously thought during the Copper Age. Analysis of the contents of his stomach showed his last meal and seasonal diet. Most dramatically, researchers discovered that Ötzi had been murdered, shot by an arrow that sliced through a major artery. The discovery provided the oldest human cold case in history. 10. The Pregnant Ice Age Horse. In 2018, scientists in Yakutia, Siberia, dug up a 42,000-year-old foal that shocked the scientific community. Not only was the horse extremely well preserved with its skin, hooves, and internal organs still in place, but extensive scans revealed it was pregnant with a fetus. The discovery provided scientists with unprecedented details on prehistoric horse evolution. Scientists found liquid blood in its veins, a first for specimens of this age, and muscle tissues were so well preserved that they retained their reddish color. Japanese scientists are now attempting to clone the foal from its preserved cells. The preservation was so good that scientists could determine the foal died by drowning when it fell into a natural trap, where it was quickly frozen and preserved. 9. The lost Incan children. High in the Andes Mountains, researchers discovered the frozen remains of 3 Incan children, sacrificed over 500 years ago in a ritual called Capacocha. Freezing temperatures and dry air at 22,000 feet had preserved them so well that they looked like they were merely sleeping. The Lightning Girl, as the child was dubbed because she had been struck by lightning after death, offered new information about Incan ritual practice. Their well-preserved clothing, jewelry, and ritual objects gave insight into Incan craftsmanship and religion. Chemical examination of their hair indicated they had been drugged with coca leaves and alcohol before death, which implied that there was an effort to try to keep them comfortable. The find changed our knowledge of Incan ceremonial practices. 8. Franklin Expedition ships. Researchers discovered 2 perfectly preserved ships, the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, from the doomed 1845 Franklin Expedition in 2014 and 2016. The ships, found in the Arctic ice, contained hundreds of artifacts that solved one of the greatest maritime mysteries in history. The ice had frozen everything from personal belongings of crew members to scientific equipment. Most astonishingly, scientists discovered intact provisions, including tins of preserved meat, that showed lead poisoning could have been a factor in the crew's deaths. The immaculate state of the ships enabled archaeologists to piece together the last desperate few months of the expedition. New underwater missions continue to unearth new discoveries, like perfectly preserved dinner plates still on shelves, and navigation equipment stuck in time. 7. The Siberian virus. In 2015, scientists made a terrifying discovery in the Siberian permafrost, a 30,000-year-old giant virus that was still alive and infectious. Mollivirus sibericum was the name of this prehistoric virus that had no match in the modern world. Although this virus infected just amoeba, its discovery raised serious questions about what else might be locked up in the permafrost that was thawing. The virus was so intact that scientists were even able to resurrect it, and it became the oldest virus to be revived. The finding sparked intense debate among scientists about the potential release of ancient pathogens with the current melting of permafrost because of global warming. 6. The Ice Age wolf pup. In 2016, gold miners in Yukon, Canada, stumbled upon a perfectly preserved Ice Age wolf pup. The 57,000-year-old specimen is the most complete wolf mummy ever found, with everything from the fur to the tiny teeth still intact. Named Jour by the local First Nations people, the puppy has provided unprecedented data on ancient wolf populations. Scientists were able to determine what she had eaten, her age, 7 weeks, and even how she died, a den collapse that buried and preserved her rapidly. DNA analysis revealed she is related to both modern wolves and to ancient Siberian wolves, enabling scientists to gain more insight into wolf migration patterns during the Ice Age. 5. The fungi of the glacial. In 2019, scientists discovered something that was never previously witnessed in Antarctic ice: frozen fungi that had survived for 20 million years and could still grow. When they thawed in laboratory conditions, the ancient creatures came back to life. This discovery challenged our expectations of the duration of life in a state of being frozen. The capability of the fungi to remain intact for millions of years and be still viable presents possibilities for studying life on other cold planets, like Mars or Europa. The find also raised a question of whether climate change has an effect on long-sleeping organisms being buried in ice. And so, there is ongoing research on fossil microbial life. 4. Bronze Age arrows. Melting patches of ice in Norway in 2020 revealed a cache of Bronze Age arrows in excellent condition, some dating back 6,000 years. Not only did the ice protect the arrowheads, but also the wooden shafts and even the binding material. This historic preservation gave archaeologists their initial chance to study in detail ancient hunting practices. The arrows witnessed successive refinement over centuries of design, revealing the evolution of hunting technology. The discovery had intact feathers and sinew binding, which provided insights into how the weapons were assembled and maintained by ancient hunters. 3. The frozen forest. In 2017, scientists discovered a forest more than 1,000 years old, buried beneath the Mendenhall Glacier in Alaska. When the glacier retreated, it revealed trees that were frozen when they were still growing in their original positions. What made this discovery particularly significant was that the bark and leaves were still intact on some of the trees. This unprecedented preservation allowed scientists to study climate change trends over thousands of years by examining tree rings and fossilized plant matter. The sudden preservation of the forest suggests a rapid climate change event that quickly buried the living forest under ice, providing researchers with good information regarding past climate changes. 2. The mummies of Glacier. 3 pre-Inca mummies were discovered in 1999 close to Argentina's Llullaillaco volcano, having been frozen for 500 years. These children, who had been sacrificed in a ceremony, were so well preserved that their internal organs remained intact and their blood still intact in their hearts. The Ice Maiden, best preserved mummy, produced evidence of alcohol and coca use in the weeks before death. Her high-style dress and adornment produced previously unseen information about Incan textile arts and metallurgy. Genetic testing of these mummies has allowed for the mapping of ancient South American migration and has revealed new data about pre-Columbian diet and disease. 1. The dinosaur mummy. In 2017, Canadian miners found what scientists call the most well-preserved dinosaur discovery ever, a nodosaur that's 110 million years old and was frozen and mineralized. This record preservation wasn't just of bones, but also skin, armor, and even stomach contents. Nicked nodosaur, this dinosaur fossil was so well preserved that scientists could determine its skin tone as well as its final meal. The dinosaur's armor plates were preserved in their original positions and provided the first definitive picture of how these protective plates were assembled. This find transformed our knowledge of dinosaur looks and biology, demonstrating that dinosaurs were more complex than ever before imagined. The preservation was so good that National Geographic termed it the closest thing to a real dinosaur ever discovered. From ancient viruses to prehistoric monsters, these frozen finds attest that Earth's ice sheets are nature's ultimate preservation rooms. But with temperatures rising around the world, we're running out of time to uncover more of these incredible discoveries before they're lost forever. What do you think might be hidden under the ice, just waiting to be uncovered? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on even more incredible discoveries from our ancient world.